Will the sponsor yield for a few questions?
He indicates that he will.
Leader, why do you think there's an increase of FOID applications in Illinois?
I would say that individuals have begun to not only increase their requests for FOIDs, but also the firearm transfer inquiry program has seen a great increase as well. I can't totally put my finger on it. I think a lot has to do with some of the some fear and civil unrest and crime.
Okay, do you think it's possibly because that could be part of it, but also because we passed policy that makes people feel their Second Amendment rights are threatened?
I don't believe that's the case.
Okay, unfortunately, I disagree with you on that. There's a lot of things in this bill that the Illinois State Police are administrative changes, as you had mentioned. Some of those things are actually, the electronic FOID is actually a bill that I filed as well. There's things in here that are certainly necessary that are going to hopefully, I'm cautiously optimistic, streamline processes for ISP that's going to help actually meet the requirements that they set forth for folks to get the FOID card. One of the questions that I do have is with the automatic FOID renewal, that comes with the volunteer of the fingerprinting, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I volunteered to get my fingers, to get fingerprinted, and in 10 years is my renewal. What happens if I have not transferred or purchased a gun in that period of time? Will my FOID automatically renew?
Yes.
No.
Well, it's my understanding they'll have your fingerprints and they'll be able to run your background check. You have to pay a $10 fee.
But it's not automatic. Just so we're clear, that is not an automatic renew. I would have to request a renew.
Yeah, it's not automatic if you didn't buy a gun. However, the process will be severely streamlined because of the fingerprints being
But I'm still going to have to apply for a renewal and pay the $10. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Obviously, the private transfers are an issue. And from my understanding, an advocacy group wrote the language for this piece. Why maintain records for 20 years compared to 10 years?
I apologize. I was asking staff a question.
Okay.
I apologize.
On the transfer piece, why extend the keeping of records from 10 years to 20 years?
It's my understanding if you go currently to a federal firearms license dealer, that if you purchase a firearm from them, that they are required to hold the keep the record for 20 years. This would be consistent with that.
Okay.
Representative Mazzocchi, I'm going to give you extra time, meeting you halfway on your request for unlimited. I'm going to give you extra time twice, 3 more minutes.
Who are you giving extra time to?
Am I calling you something else now, too? I am very sorry. There's something happening up here. Did I call you Mazzocchi?
You sure did.
You blonde ladies all look alike. Sorry, my apologies.
That's okay, no problem.
I'm going to give you extra time, but we're keeping it to 3 speakers in opposition.
Okay, is there any penalty for, let's say you and I, buyer seller, okay? I'm the seller, you're the buyer. You as the buyer have 10 days to report that to an FFL dealer, is that correct? Yes, it is.
That is correct.
What happens if I don't, or you as the buyer, what happens if you do not take that to an FFL dealer? Is there a penalty?
So can I just, and I'm not trying to take up your time, I just want to kind of go, I think it'd be easier if maybe...
It wouldn't actually. Sorry, sir.
Well, I'll take you through the process and maybe it answers your question. If that, so we can...
Well, just because of time, let me just clarify it. So you're the buyer, I'm the seller. You as the buyer have 10 days to report that to an FFL dealer. If you do not do so, there is no penalty for you not doing that. Okay? That being said, there's no record then at that FFL dealer of that transfer. Now, if a cop comes to the door and asks where your gun is, I hope everybody's listening to this part, and asks you where your gun is, and you say, well, I reported it to Hammond FFL. Hammond FFL is no longer in business. There's no record of where that gun is. Sir, can you tell me how that promotes safety in Illinois?
I'm not quite understanding your question.
It doesn't promote safety.
Well,
It doesn't.
You're not going to listen to what I say, so
No,
why
I'm
am
just
I
trying
answering?
to. I'm just trying to help you understand that it's certainly not going to. At 12:30 a.m., the last day of session, prior to that several hours, I had gone over to the Senate and asked them to talk about this transfer piece, and it was stated in a text by the Senate sponsor that if we could get HB 542 passed, that they'll address the issues of private transfers, as we have over 2 years to do that. Can you tell me what the issues are with the private transfers that we're going to address?
First of all, let me say that it isn't. You keep saying the buyer does the reporting to the FFL.
Correct.
It is actually the seller who does that. Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
No, it is the buyer.
you're never going to.
Well, it doesn't matter. 6 one way, half a dozen another, whether it's the buyer or the seller. If they report it, there's no penalty. Let's say for your sake that you are correct.
And I think you had asked the question, if a business goes out of business, they can turn the records over to the state.
But they don't have to, correct? They don't. Okay. All right, DNR is going to be losing their original $6 for the card.
Last question, okay?
Oh, shoot. Hang on then. Can I pick a different one?
Pick a different one.
All right. All right, this is a pretty important question, Leader.
I'm listening.
All right, thank you. Is there anything in this legislation that we're about to possibly pass here that addresses crimes committed by non-FOID carriers?
Yes, this would provide for a task force that would, number one, be able to stop crime, because it would be in place of the $10 that is paid for the FOID. $5 will go to a revocation task force that will then go out and will go and collect guns from individuals who have a revoked FOID.
Well, that is great. I don't know about everybody in this body, but I feel so safe that we're going to have a task force challenge this issue. Vote no.